You have arrived at your destination.
Hi, this is Gene Simmons from KISS, and you're listening to Sean vs. Wild. And guess what? Now that you've heard this, you owe me $29.95. Go to kissonline.com. Boom.
That's right, Wildlings. You have arrived at your destination. It's the Sean vs. Wild podcast, and it's time to rock and roll all night and podcast every Tuesday. And you guys know me, of course, the man, the myth, the Sean Thriller Smith, the guy putting rad back into talk radio. Guys, I know that things have been a little different over the past couple weeks. I was absent completely from the intro last week, man. Sometimes you just got to take some time to get yourself together, man. After tragedy strikes, you just got to take some time, shed some tears, drink some beers, eat some hot wings, come out on the other side. And this week, it is back to business as usual. I'm talking music, talking with my good friends in Alteras. Never had met Jake and Zack before, and now we are best friends forever, as you guys will hear on the show. Alteras is another awesome band coming to you from the Revival Recordings playlist. And guys, I've been talking about it week in and week out. If you have not yet, you have to go to ffm.to/revival52 and follow that playlist on Spotify. They're putting out awesome new music every single Friday. So you got to check out these bands. Alteras is a band that I found from there. They got a brand new album. It's called Myself on Fire. And at the time of speaking with them, already was number 18 on the Billboard charts. Got that? Number 18. So that's what's up. So I sat down with Jake, sat down with Zack, and we had a great time getting to know each other. Awesome new band. Highly suggest you pick up their brand new album, Myself on Fire, available at Revival Recordings. And guys, it's so good to talk to you again. So good to be back here in the Smithsonian, hitting you with this intro. Got to talk about all my OG sponsors. You know who I'm talking about, Audiophile Inc. All you have to do is go to audiophileinc.com, get the best deal in town on your screen printing needs, no matter what town you live in, because Shane ships to all 50 nifty United States. All you have to do is go to audiophileinc.com and tell them the Wild Man sent you, man. Place your order. Also, you got to go to Audible. Audible's an Amazon company offering you over 180,000 audiobooks to choose from. And guys, I use Audible all the time, man. It's a lifesaver here. I use it all the time on my trips. I use it in my normal day-to-day. If I'm out, just walking the neighborhood, getting my cardio in. Gotta have my audiobook playing. So go to audibletrial.com/Sean vs. Wild. That's audibletrial.com/Sean vs. Wild. Sign up for a free 30-day trial. Don't just take my word for it. Go get yourself an audiobook, enjoy the hell out of it, and keep the subscription month to month. But even if you don't want to keep it month to month, even if you decide, hey, just one audiobook's enough, you can cancel at any time. Keep that audiobook for yourself forever and ever, as long as there'll be cell phones, guys. As long as Skynet doesn't become aware, then you can keep your audiobook. And yeah, guys, big shout out to Joe Brock, as always, for booping the dials. Man, that guy's been a lifesaver for me. I want to give a big personal shout out to Joe, man, because he and I have been hanging out. He and I have been, just doing a lot together. And, he's a great dude. So big shout out to Joe Brock for just helping me get through these past few weeks and letting me enjoy rocking out with Foxbat. Of course, my resident band here on the Sean vs. Wild podcast. So I've been having a great time going to these shows, meeting people, hanging out with each and every one of you guys. If I saw you at the Foxbat Greyhaven show, if I saw you at the Foxbat album release show a couple weeks ago, give me a shout out. Love to say hey to you guys again. Love to hang out with you guys again. Love to just interact with you guys on social media. Do it. SeanVersusWild@gmail.com. Send me an email. Look me up on Facebook, Sean vs. Wild. Guys, that's going to be it for me this week. Here's my conversation with Alteras coming to you right now. It's time to get wild. All right, guys, at the top of the podcast, I got to say, I'm right in the middle of the storm of the century. So if you hear lightning and thunder, you probably wouldn't hear lightning, but if you hear thunder and rain, we're not podcasting from some spooky haunted house this week here, guys. But I will tell you what, I am wet with precipitation, perspiration, condensation, and anticipation in chatting with my brand new homies in Alteras. You know who I'm talking about. I'm talking to Jake Clasen, and I'm talking to Zack Orr. Guys, How are you today?
Damn, I'm like good now. I'm like ready to go.
Yeah,
Shit.
dude. I feel great. I feel great, man.
Dude, I always pretend like I'm not going to tell people that I totally messed up, but this is take 2 of that intro. We try to make it cool. I try to be cool. I totally didn't. I messed up. But take 2, I think it sounded even better.
I felt like the intro the second time like had me going even more too. Though, so.
You nailed it.
Yeah, dude. I want to get you guys pumped, man. So one of my favorite things about this podcast is I get to talk to people that I've never met before, but who's I'm a fan of their music. And today is one of those days. So we are going to get to know each other, and we're going to bro down right here on the old podcast. So
love it.
Absolutely. First thing that I have to mention to you guys, okay, from Youngstown, Ohio. I have one story about Youngstown, Ohio, and hopefully you won't mind me telling you.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited to hear it. I'm excited.
It's not a great story about Youngstown per se, but it's just a situation where I ended up in Youngstown and something strange happened to me. Have you... back in the day, there's a show called Quantum Leap, and it's about this guy that basically went from one point in time to another point in time instantaneously. And Youngstown, Ohio is a place where I accidentally quantum leaped. And what I mean by that is, so we drove like 8 hours from Louisville or what have you to go to Youngstown, and our next date was in like Asheville, North Carolina. And everybody on this tour is sick as a dog, right? And so, like, I get through the show that's in Youngstown. We play with this band, and that did a lot of covers of. I think they actually played "Airplane" by B.O.B. featuring Eminem and Haley Williams.
Nice.
I think they actually did it twice in their set. How tight was that?
All right.
But so I'm sick as a dog. I'm sick as fuck. I'm in Youngstown, Ohio, and so like I literally. Pack up all my stuff, and in the band that we were touring with, they had a Sprinter, and they were like, dude, you might want to lay down in the Sprinter. They're like, we have an extra sleeping bag, and it's a mummy bag. You need to crawl in this thing, and you need to go to bed. So literally, I get in there, I zip all the way up, so I'm in this 100-degree cocoon in the Sprinter, and the last thing I remember is just zipping this thing up, closing my eyes. I'm in solid blackness, and then the next thing I remember, I wake up, and it's like 10 hours later, and I'm in Asheville, North Carolina, when I unzip this bag.
Damn.
So I actually time traveled. I went through time and space. I quantum leaped for the first time in Youngstown, Ohio.
That's silly, man.
So how was your stay in Youngstown, then?
Dude, it was mind-blowing, dude. It's like Youngstown is like the equivalent of, I guess, taking like DMT or something, brother. It's going to blow your mind. You're going to quantum leap.
I guess so.
How
all
is
you need's a mummy sleeping bag, and you're in. You're set.
Bro, dude, you ever hotboxed in a mummy sleeping bag, brother? You're going to love it.
Oh, my
There's
God.
nothing like it in Youngstown, dog.
It's what all the kids are doing. Tell me, what's it like? What's the scene in Youngstown like and growing up there and what have you?
The scene in Youngstown was kind of weird for a while when we were growing up. It was kind of thriving at a moment when we were younger, just getting into music. And then it like died off as we were like starting to hit it hard and, you know, in bands and playing shows. And there was like no bands to play, to play with and no venues to play at. And it kind of sucked. But now within the last 4 years ish, it's like starting to thrive again. It's starting to come back. And, I don't know. We're pretty proud of how it's growing. So
it's significantly. It's just been black and white the whole experience. The difference between it. I mean, before, like Zack was saying, like 5 years ago, there was nowhere to play. I mean, there was maybe one or two venues, and if you were playing there, you were playing a show for nobody. You were asking people to come out. You were selling tickets to people as opposed to like people just going to shows. You know, you're working with promoters that like. We're expecting the bands to do certain things in order to even perform at all. And now we're at this point where, you know, we play downtown and the tickets are free because people just go and they know that the bar is going to make money off the show just because of how many people will go to the shows. So it's pretty fantastic. The black and white difference that it's come up in the last 5 years or 4 years. And it's cool. It's a good place to be for us right now. And we're happy about it.
I think entertainment in general like seems to be like on a total upswing. I don't know, I've read somewhere that like when sometimes your like times get tough, entertainment like takes a big upswing. So I noticed that too, like in Louisville, like, whenever I was playing in Baby Yeah and stuff like that, there weren't stable venues, or sometimes you had to get creative, you're renting out halls, or you're doing this or you're doing that. And,
Right.
The music scene would just be like hit or miss. And sometimes kids would go out to shows and sometimes not. But now, like, even in my hometown, it's the same thing. Like, all these awesome new bands are coming out, and these big, huge shows are being put on again. And it's kind of nice to see, man. I think, like, I don't know, maybe we're just at a point where, like, a whole new generation is discovering, punk rock and heavy music, and they want to get out there and do it.
I hope so, man.
Let me ask you too. So you guys grew up in Youngstown?
Yes, sir.
Where? What kind of bands were you into when you were growing up?
Well, I grew up on like a lot of 80s hair metal, which is what my parents listened to.
Did we just become best friends? Did we just become best friends?
I think we just became. You want to do karate in the garage?
Yep.
My dad's favorite bands were like Kiss and Aerosmith and Iron Maiden, shit like that. So I grew up watching like the VH1 behind the scenes shit of that with him, and I was like, God damn, their lives are so fucking cool. Like, I want that. Like 20 years later, here I am sleeping in a sweaty van doing some mummy coffin shit and just time traveling and such. But it's not as luxurious as it looks on TV, but yeah, I grew up listening to a lot of that, and that turned into, come when I was 13, 14, I found out about hardcore music, and that kind of changed everything for me, and, started writing my own music and stuff from that, but yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I kind of came from a weird background in music. I mean, I grew up with my mom mostly, and she listened to a lot of like oldies stuff. So like the Beach Boys, and like like I remember distinctly one of the songs that I hear like from my childhood would be like Tom Petty, or like Cher. I remember Cher like a whole lot. So like that's like me as a kid, but then I hit 13 or 14 and started finding music myself, and then kind of dove into like your stadium rock music. So like your 3 Days Grace now, or your escaping me, Avenged Sevenfold, like stuff like that. This big stadium bands. And then, that kind of transferred once I got into the Warped Tour scene and started understanding like, oh, there's like other genres of rock, and it kind of all just expanded from there, where now I pretty much listen to whatever I hear, man. It's ridiculous. I mean, I'm more into like alt now than anything, like alternative stuff, but yeah, it's been a weird, wild journey, I suppose.
Well, this brings something up for me. Like, it's kind of interesting because I don't know if I know this about you, Jake.
Oh.
But like, I want to know what your first album was that you bought.
The first album I ever purchased with my own money,
out of your own free will.
Dude, this is actually slightly embarrassing.
So is mine, so I'm curious.
Good. Okay, so the first album I ever bought with my own money was, fuck, I don't even remember what it was called, but it was a Black Eyed Peas album.
Nailed it.
And it was the one with Pump It on it.
Okay.
I don't remember what it was called. It was like a maroon album with like a monkey on it or some shit.
Okay.
But I can't remember.
Mine, 13-year-old me, went to, I think it was Target or Best Buy, and I bought Limp Bizkit's Chocolate Covered Starfish and the hot dog flavored water. And I bumped that shit till it fucking broke with my fucking little CD player that you click in and the over-the-ear headphones. And
oh, man.
Dude, the first CD I ever bought with my money was life-changing because I bought Queen's Greatest Hits. That was
bro.
Damn.
Now, see, you skipped the bullshit, man.
Yeah, you went straight for the creme de la creme.
Well, before that, okay, I grew up on country music. So my mom listened to country music, so I grew up on country music. And
so, like, what kind of country music?
I'm talking like
real country?
Well, to me, real country. But country music, whenever I was a kid, was like at its like second peak. Basically, it's had its second win because you had Garth. You know what I'm saying? You had Garth Brooks.
Okay.
That era,
Yeah.
Travis Tritt, Randy Travis,
That's
George
still real
Strait.
country to me.
Yes. They actually have a radio station down here that calls it True Country, which I kind of dig that title. But yeah, so that's kind of what I was raised of, the country music of the late 80s and the early 90s. And then my uncle was like a rocker. So he, one day, we were in his car and he played We Will Rock You and We Are the Champions, which of course I had recognized that from Mighty Ducks. So I was like, oh I got to check this out. And so I bought that CD, and I remember I went, and it was on Martin Luther King Day, so I had the day off school, and went and bought that CD, and that's what changed my life, man. I've mentioned that on the podcast a lot. I'm like, this is when I realized I'm a rocker now.
Hell yeah. That's tight. Much respect.
That's
awesome.
I will say the Black Eyed Peas album with Pump It that's maroon and might have a monkey on it, that's pretty good too,
Bro, it changed a lot from there. I think from there, like the next album I bought was an Incubus CD and Lost Prophets when they were like a minute, and then they went downhill because their band basically imploded on like sexual assault charges, which ruined my whole childhood. But is what it is. But like it got better from there. I'll just say that. Not that Pump It's not a fucking rockin' ass
I
song,
would
man.
hope that it would get better.
Pump It is still my shit. I'll still fuck with that.
I'd like to think you actually just bought the album that has my humps on it, and that's
No, dude, that is on that album. That's absolutely on that album.
Okay, perfect. Well, now
It's on that album.
Now
for
we're
sure.
getting down to the real meat and potatoes. Why you
Yeah.
bought the album? Because you heard my humps on the radio. And you're
I
like,
mean,
oh,
yeah, dog. Well, Fergie, I was like, 11, and Fergie was like,
Just speaking to you on a whole new
it
level.
was like a sexual awakening,
right,
It's just like my fucking humps, my dog.
my dog.
God, that's not. I don't want that on record. Fergie was not my sexual awakening. I'm putting that out there right now. I can't let that be. Like, I can't just let that.
I know it's there.
Who's your number one childhood crush? Who's your number one childhood woman? Is it Fergie? I mean, you just said it's
like when I was a kid. Who was I? Like
Sure.
I was real big on Hillary Duff when I was a young buck. Because Disney Channel was like the shit, and
I see
Hillary
that.
Duff was
I see
like.
that.
Although also no, it's got to be Emma Watson because of Harry Potter. I like grew up with Harry Potter, and I was in love with Hermione.
Yeah, my whole bass rig is just named Emma Watson.
perfect. So you're going Emma Watson too. Is it settled? The band loves Emma Watson.
I guess.
I
don't-
mean,
I don't
that's
know.
fair.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I'm a little bit more old school than you because I'm a little older. So I grew up in like really the Topanga era from Boy Meets World.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I feel that.
The Kelly Kapowski from Saved by the Bell.
Okay.
Kind of that
I see
era.
that too.
A lot of fly honeys in the mid. Dude, I will tell you the number one though. Like when you're talking about, you saw Fergie, and then the next day you woke up with a mustache, and dude, that was me when I saw the Genie in a Bottle video by Christina Aguilera.
Oh my god.
The moment I saw that video, I was just like, "Yep,
It's
this is it."
It's like you woke up for the first time.
yeah.
You're like, I'm here.
I'm a
ready.
man now. I'm a man now, Dad. And I still love Christina Aguilera. I mean, her music, it is what it is. Some of it's annoying, and some of it's great, but she'll always have a special place in my heart. Christina, I know you're listening. This podcast is dedicated to you here.
Beautiful.
But yeah, so
Beautiful
guys,
sentiment.
when did you? So now that we know, obviously what got you into rocking and rolling, Black Eyed Peas and.
Limp Bizkit.
Limp Bizkit. And I could totally tell from. Oh, also, I want to backtrack here because you said you listened to a lot of Cher with your mom. I've been to a Cher concert with my mom. I went to a Cher concert with her. So
that's incredible.
shout out to the moms out there. But what made you guys decide to get together, start a band, try it yourself, and how'd you guys link up?
So like, it's 8th grade, right? And this weird kid comes to our school, and he's got like, do you remember Trip pants?
Oh, do I?
It's like chains and straps, and like just blew my fucking mind. This kid walks through the door, and I was like, I don't know who this kid is, but he's gonna be my friend. And turns out this kid was Mike, our guitarist. And so we started a band together back in 8th grade, and we played music together for the rest of whatever, in and out of bands together, playing shows together. And then, we stopped playing music like in the same band for a little bit, just playing, in different bands together. And a couple years, maybe a decade later, Mike's in a band with Jake, and they're like, yo, do you want to be in a music video? And I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to be in a music video. They're like, well, in this music video, we're going to get you drunk. I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to be in a music video. So, I got into the music video and then slowly weaseled my way into the band. And that was about 3.5 years ago. And it's been downhill since then.
First, I got drunk, and then I got into the music business.
Exactly. That's generally like
that's kind of how.
Yeah, man. Simultaneously, while Zack was coming through this, so right before Mike joined, I'd been in this band for a minute, and it kind of been like one of those things where I literally started this band with a group of people, and it was just us learning how to play music, and it just ended up being instead of how you change bands or whatever, we just never changed bands. We just always stayed Alteras and learned how to write music and did all that shit and didn't ever take it seriously until these guys joined. And then we were like, well, we could actually do this. And then we started taking it seriously, but we kind of grew that way. So it was I was actually watching Zack and Mike in their bands. And I was watching them man, dude, I want to fucking rock with these guys. They're killing it right now. Cause I was 3 years younger than they were at the time.
Whoa.
And I was I was looking at them and I'm damn, this is how I want to rock. And, you're growing up, this is middle school, high school shit. And, it's funny how it all comes around and it's oh yeah, here I am. That'd be 6 or 7 years later. Now we're in the same band, fucking doing the same thing together. So.
Dude, that's a nice story. I like it how everything just worked out like that.
Yeah, it's convenient because we all went to the same high school, but at different times, and it wasn't we were all in the same music scene, but all different parts. I remember playing very not punk rock music, but I don't know, Fall Out Boy style music. And then Zack was in a kind of a similar style band where it was pop punk. And then Mouse was always in these or Mike was in all these death metal bands, grindcore bands. So it's just funny that we were always in the same scene, but never really communicated that much. I mean, they did, I didn't, but it somehow all worked out.
Well, that's the best part too. When you get the scene, you'll never know who will end up randomly being in your band. So me and the singer, when I was in Hum Baby, yeah, we were in that band for 12 years, he and I. But literally, the rest of our band was a revolving door of who's who people from our music scene that played with us anywhere from 6 months to 5 years. But when you have a scene like that, it's kind of crazy who ends up playing music with you. Yeah,
it's crazy. It really is. Really, really is. You don't even think about it, and then you're damn, all right, this works. This is tight.
We're doing it. We're really doing it, aren't we, Hare? Yeah, buddy. But it's funny when you said, hey, man, do you know what trip pants are? I just wanted to be yeah, I'm wearing them right now. But I wasn't. I'm not actually wearing them. I'm wearing jeans. I love the silence. I can't wait to listen to that back, and people are going to be damn, that joke sucked.
Oh, no, it was good. It was over my head for a minute. I was
yeah.
Oh my God. No.
Do you remember trip pants? Yeah,
dude,
I'm wearing them right now.
Coat. I had a trip coat. I had the coat that was My Chemical Romance style. I was tripped out too when I was in high school.
Dude, did you ever have that kid that had soap shoes and he would grind, banisters and stuff like that?
Just run up and just try and hit a rail real quick on his feet.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That was
and then
pre-wheelies.
Bust his ass and yeah.
God.
Yeah, pre-Heelys or whatever.
Wild.
Dude, it was
wild, man.
But yeah, but now that you're adults and high school's over, you guys are making moves here. One of the reasons that you guys got on my radar, of course, Baby, I was on Revival, and you guys are signed to Revival Recordings, which is very tight.
Yes, sir.
I actually found you guys through the Revival 52 playlist, and
hell yeah.
every single week, new music coming your way. Listeners, you know, I tell you about this every week in the introduction, but I'm going to hide it in the actual podcast this week. You need to go on Spotify. You need to go and follow the Revival 52 playlist. Check out awesome new bands. If you're in a band, check out awesome new bands to tour with. They put out new music every single Friday. You're going to find something awesome like Alteras, or like some of my other guests that I've had on the show before, like Alisana, or, anybody else. June Divided. Nailed it. But yeah. Absolutely. Revival 52. All you have to do is go to ffm.to/revival52. That's ffm.to/revival52 and make it happen. Alteras, that's how I found you guys. So you guys are making some big moves. How did you guys go from high school, these kooky high school antics, to now being signed to Revival Recordings?
Oh man, it's been a hike.
Yeah, we put out this album called Grief, which was grief, and we sent it over with our the help of our manager, and it was sent over to Sean, and Sean responded with, "I don't get it." and then 6 months later, Sean hit us back up and was like, "All right, I get it. I want to sign these guys."
Hey, I got it.
Yeah, it took a minute, and it clicked with him, and he was in, and then we kind of just been riding since then, man. It's been started touring like around the same time we signed heavily. I mean, and then last year did 101 dates and have just been trucking along. The more we play, the more things seem to progress. And this last, obviously we just put out new albums, so like that has been like our focus in the most recent times. And every new thing that we seem to do seems to push us in the right direction. I think for us, endurance and perseverance has been just
hitting music conferences like NAMM and Launch, playing Warped Tour, doing stuff like that. Just
man, making a spectacle of it.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, I've been seeing those videos of you guys, and we'll talk more about Warped Tour a little bit later, but I've been seeing a lot of live videos of you guys, and the stage show is, the stage presence is fantastic.
Thanks, man. Yeah, we pride ourselves on that. I think our big thing is like with it being, music is huge for us, but like what we do is perform, like our big thing is that it's all about the performance. And you could buy the album, but you're never going to get the live show experience unless you come to a show. And that's what we care the most about ever, is being able to play these songs on stage, not just recording them and having them listened to at home. Like our big thing is getting to go out and put our heart into the songs that we put so much time and love into. So like when we get up on the stage, it's all or nothing. And, I'd be lying if I didn't say that we get hurt sometimes. Cause like sometimes we fuck up and we spin too many times. We whack each other in the face with instruments. Like, it is what it is. But
it's fucking great. I love it.
That's the best part about the live performance. You want it to be big. You want it to be loud. You want it to be dangerous. You got to give somebody the element of danger. People can sit at home and, listen to a CD or listen to an album, on their phone. But you want to give them something that's a completely different animal. That's what kind of has always been the credo of the bands that I've been in, because, there's no better way to sell your album than getting on stage, absolutely destroying it, being better than all the other bands that played that night, and then someone wants your album as like a souvenir. And that's like the thing where it's like, I got to get this so I don't forget who this band is, and I will take home a memento, and I will remember it for, at least a couple months or something like that. But that is the best way to make it happen.
Exactly. Because, like, even if they don't like your music, like, they can still, groove out from the energy that's coming off of the stage,
Yeah, and even if they don't like your music, they'll remember your band, and they'll be like, hey, these guys were absolutely insane. I have to go see them.
Yeah, dude. I remember for a long time when we first started touring, my like mindset was always, because like, we were like when we were like young, you know, in the touring game, we were like trying to figure out, you know, how to be consistent every night and trying to figure out like how much can I exert without blowing my voice out, or how much can I give without being so sore that I'm not going to be able to make it to the end of this tour. And I just ended up getting to this conclusion, like, I just want people to watch the set, and by the end of it, at least be able to say, like, what the fuck did I just watch? You know, like, I want them to be able to be like, okay, what was that? Like, what? I don't understand. So, like, it's when we try to have fun, I think,
Right.
like Zack said, energy is huge. I think I'll quote, I think it was Kurt Cobain who said it. It's like, you're just passing energy between you and like the crowd. And it's all a live show is. And if you don't get that energy on stage, no one's going to feel it off stage. And, you know, at the end of the day, like, we care more about passing that energy with our live show than anything. So
That's what it's all about. That is the key, that connection between you and your fans and getting, I don't know, a real response. Because, you know, to me, and like, no offense to anybody that listens that does this, or anybody that likes this type of music, but there's no way in fuck I'm going to go buy a concert ticket to see some dipshit like strum his acoustic guitar and kick like a bass drum at the same time. Like, I can listen to that at home on a record and be perfectly fine with it. I could watch a YouTube video and be perfectly fine with it. But what I want to see is, I want to see a show when I go out and pay money for a ticket. And the fact that you guys are giving it to these people, I got to commend you on that. You guys are my homies for that, for sure.
thank you, man. Yeah, I feel the same way. It's like you're paying for a performance, man. You're paying for, like you said, you can listen to the album at home. You're paying for the experience. It's the experience of the show. It's not the, I mean, it's the music, but it's the experience that comes with it. You know, you want that to be linear. You don't want it to be an afterthought.
Exactly. I used to have an awesome saying when we were touring, because you'd play with a bunch of different bands. But I would tell the singer of my band, I'd say, you know how you can tell if a band sucks? And he'd be like, how? I was like, count the number of bass drums that the singer is playing while strumming an acoustic guitar. And if the answer is more than 0, they suck. So
That's funny. I like that.
we have such a big like folk rock scene here in Louisville. So guys, my Louisville listeners, I apologize if that's a joke, okay? It's a joke. But I'll tell you what's not a joke. You guys put out a brand new album, and it's called Myself on Fire. And as we speak, okay, number 18 on Billboard's hard rock charts, man. That's got to be an awesome feeling.
Yeah, dude, it's pretty surreal. We did nothing but push as soon as we found out the dates, we were like, all right, let's get the pre-orders going, and we just communicated with as many people as possible. And we're like, you know, we didn't think about it, you know, it was just one of those things where we were just trying our best and trying to push the music, and we were excited about the album. So when we got the news that it was like charting, we were like, wow, man, like, none of us really thought that it would happen, you know. It was never really like a this is gonna happen thing. It was more just like it'd be cool, and we're gonna push our hardest, and maybe it will. And now that it's happened, I still like can't believe it. Like,
it's like a bucket list thing, you know. Like you sit there and you're like, all right, yeah, if that happens, like, it'd be fucking rad, but like, there's no way it's gonna happen. Like,
yeah. So
let's not get our hopes up or anything.
So now we're fucked, and now we've got to like aim even higher. You know, like it's gotta be even higher next time, or else, you know.
Exactly.
No, but dude, I'm so grateful, and I'm so thankful, and I guess I can plug right here that I like literally, it's not possible without anybody that, you know, cares about our music enough to buy it, pre-order it, buy it at a show, whatever, come to the show. Like none of that is possible. You can't chart if nobody's buying the music, and that's so fucking magical, man. So magical to me that enough people have invested in our bands to get us to where we are right now, and I'm so grateful. So grateful.
Yeah, dude. That's amazing, dude.
I'll drink to that.
Yeah, I will too. Speaking of which, I forgot to crack open my cold beer. Oh well, I'll do that when we take our song break. And while now that I mentioned that, I think that it's time to give the listening audience a little morsel, a sample of how awesome Alteras is. We have prepared a piece guys. They're going to be playing it live acoustically while kicking a bass drum. I'm kidding, of course. We wouldn't have that on the show. But yeah, I want to talk about the new single, Damn Well. You said it's doing really well for you guys. It's doing damn well for you guys, if you will.
Yeah, it's been cool.
What's the backstory behind that? Give the listeners, give them the deets on what this song's all about.
So, I guess, the whole thing, like the chorus line would be, I guess I'll just quote the chorus and kind of go off. It's I'm always at the wrong place at the wrong time, feeling all the wrong things, but I act fine. And I mean, like, the big thing is just like, you can't ever time shit. And it's really one of those things where you just got to try and get yourself through the positive outlooks that you have and, accept the way that you are and, figure out that one day everything's going to kind of fit into the right place. But when you worry about your timing all the time, it kind of fucks everything up. So kind of gets the basis of the song in general.
Things always happen unexpectedly. You can't plan for it. Life.
Welcome to the music industry.
Just go with the flow, dog. You got no hope anyways.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, guys, without further ado, this is Damn Well by Alteras.
I'm always at the wrong place, at the wrong time, feeling all the wrong things, but I act fine. Looking up to see your face, hoping it sees mine.
I'm not sure when you stop beating me, but I have a feeling it was long before you left. The silence is reassuring me that I have nothing left in this place. I lay in my bed tracing grooves on the ceiling with my eyesight. This could take all day. I wish I could sleep. I'm always at the wrong place at the wrong time, feeling all the wrong things, but I act fine. Looking up to see your face, hoping it sees mine. I'm always thinking I'm wrong, knowing I'm right. Know damn well I can't sleep, but I act fine. Maybe one day I'll be fine. I want to feel a fire I can't keep in my chest. I want to deviate my judgment so my mind cannot rest. Something is wrong with my mind. It can't help but think of you all the time. I'd be lying if I said that I don't think of you most nights. Without you by my side, I'm always at the wrong place at the wrong time, feeling all the wrong things, but I act fine. Looking up to see your face, hoping it sees mine. I'm always thinking I'm wrong, knowing I'm right. Know damn well I can't sleep, but I act fine. Maybe one day I'll be fine. I carried you up the stairs more nights than I can remember. My body feels dismembered again.
The instability is deafening, and I don't wanna sleep alone again. And I still wear that shirt you gave me. I wake up at night screaming, these wounds blood cannot mend.
I'm always at the wrong place at the wrong time, feeling all the wrong things, but I act fine. Looking up to see your face,
All right, everybody. That was Damn Well by Alteras. Guys, I'm here in the Smithsonian. It is still raining. It is still thundering. It's like a goddamn Garth Brooks video outside right now. But Jake and Zack, hopefully you guys are warm and safe in your mummy bags in Youngstown, Ohio, making this thing happen. But yeah, guys, that's the jam. I've been jamming this album all week on Spotify, and I'm so stoked to be able to chat with you guys about it.
Oh yeah, thanks, dude.
No problem, man. So with the album, you know, what are kind of some of the themes? What kind of shit were you going through kind of in your life that inspired this album? Was there any things in particular, any events in particular that you kind of poured into your songwriting here?
I think something that fell into a lot of it was we were doing a lot of touring while we were writing this album. So a lot of the things that we were experiencing were extremes of all this stuff. You know, the little things that you experience at home or the little things that you experience on the road, you know, you carry those things with you, and they kind of grow the more that you've got time to think about them. And I think us being on the road really like heightened our understanding of the things that were going on or causing us any individual struggles in our personal lives, you know, lives that are separate from our music. So like when we were out there, it's just easier to sit there and like think about the things that make it make things, you know, interesting, and those are the concepts I guess we rolled with. They were things that mattered to us, not necessarily all negative things, but like just the things that were affecting us, the experiences. It was a very much experience-based album where we based almost all the content off of things that happened to us, things that happened around us, or people that we met or experienced in our lives, and things that they or ourselves were going through. So a lot of it was, well, all of it was experiential, and I think touring, would be the thing that really honed us into the ideas, I guess, that we talked about.
Mostly what Jake said.
Ditto. But you know, the thing about touring though that I always kind of thought, and kind of goes back to what you were saying here, is, you know, for me, like touring is like one of those things where like unless you do it, like it's like you don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like you it's, I don't know.
Right.
Kind of like if you're in a war or in the military or something. It's like you have your fellow warriors out there beside you, and you have like a respect for them, just as you have respect for your fellow bands out there grinding and stuff. But it's like that touring like takes a toll so much kind of on your personal life, like you were saying. Like it's very difficult to have, you know, a long-term relationship over the phone, or have a wife over the phone, or have kids over the phone, and all that sort of thing. And it's kind of like at the end of the day, you go back in the van and you hang out with your 4 to 5 bros that are in the van with you, and like they're the ones that kind of understand what you're going through. So that, you know, a lot of people write music about being on the road, and I think that's why, because it is a struggle, and it's like one of those things that unless you did it, like you might not understand kind of what goes into it as far as the negative aspect goes. Does that make any sense?
Right. Yeah, I agree 100%. And it's like a lot of the times too, you know, after you're set and after you load out and, you know, you're in there and you're doing your shift of either driving or trying to sleep to wait for your next shift of driving, you have like a lot of time too to sit there and let it all kind of soak in, whether you're just hanging out and talking or whether you're just trying to, you know, stay awake and be co-pilot to keep your driver, you know, in the middle of the road and not off in a ditch.
Right.
And,
Yeah, that seems like not totally like a thing that happened.
Yeah, it's never happened.
Definitely not.
We're not going to talk about it. But it's something that, you know, kind of festers a little bit or grows, you know, depending on what the experience is. And it kind of, you know, fuels the fire to certain topics that, you know, if you dig deep enough, you can find within reoccurring themes in the album.
And also too, like it's great when touring, like the positive aspect of it is like, dude, you get to know these people. Like they were, you know, the people in your band really do become your brothers, because it's like, you know, like you're saying, those long drives, man, we had so many long nights and stuff where somebody's driving and you're just in the front seat or in the passenger seat, you know, keeping them awake and just talking their ear off, and they're talking to you, and you just like find out so much about these people. you know? And then you come home and you're like, man, if I don't see them again for like 2 months, I don't care, you know?
Yeah. No, I feel that. You definitely become family because, you know, when you're away from your actual family, like that's blood, that's, you know, who you're with for long periods of time. And, you know, I'm so thankful to have 3 other dudes, sometimes 4, depending on our crew, like that these are people that I trust with everything and that I can be completely transparent with because, you know, you got to be close with those people because you're with them 25/8, you know, like
Right.
We shower together, we sleep together, we piss and shit together, and we cry our hearts out every night on stage together. So
it's just the way it is. Do you have any like awesome tour stories or anything especially juicy or maybe embarrassing, if you will? Because I think every band has like just nights where maybe you've partied and debauchery has happened. Do you have anything?
We've had a couple wild ones.
got a couple that come to mind.
You know,
I'm thinking New Jersey, and I'm also thinking, what was that? It wasn't Lancaster. It was,
what, Chameleon Club?
was it Chameleon Club?
Which one?
We learned the get the fuck out dance
Oh, that was
on the Alisana tour in Easton, Pennsylvania, where this something happened, and this young bartender tries to get one of the members to buy a round of shots for us and for her, you know, basically just keep business going. And to give you an idea of what had happened before, basically everyone that was at the venue funneled into this small bar right next door that was connected, and it was like 200 people in this like shotgun room where everyone was like eventually dancing on the bar, standing on the table, stuff like that.
It was crazy.
And you know how tour life is. We're cheap motherfuckers. We don't make a lot of money. So like the individual who was presented the option was like, oh yeah, we'll take shots, not realizing that he would have to pay. She brought the shots over. We took them, and as she went to go find this card that she didn't have, we did the get the fuck out dance, which is basically just raise the roof and just charge through the stampede of people dancing on tables to get out of the fucking bar and head to the next venue.
So the next time you're in Easton, you owe someone 5 shots.
Yeah.
Know. Yeah, so
it's coming.
Yeah, we'll pay it forward. We'll buy them for somebody else.
Yeah, we'll buy shots for somebody.
Yeah, we'll just buy we'll buy all the bartender shots next time we're in that bar.
Yeah, there you go. We're number 18 on the charts. We can afford to be hospitable now. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, no, dude. The other so there's another story. The other one Zach mentioned was New Jersey. We played that's Passaic. It's like right outside of Newark. It's like real close. We played there. It was like about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago.
Something like that.
God, it was a minute. But
we were playing with our boys who are now called Homeseeker.
Yes.
Really good. You should check them out.
Yeah, they're solid dudes. Every single person in that band's great. They're out in New York. And we were playing with them. We were playing at this venue. The venue, I can't remember the name of it, but we were showing up and we couldn't find it. And we were driving through, and it was weird. We were in like the industrial district of Passaic or Newark or wherever it was, and we were like, "What is going on? These are like factories. These are like weird buildings." And then we see a sign that says,
"It's cardboard."
Yeah, dude, it was like the clouds moved from the sky, and like a ray of golden light shined upon a cardboard sign with black Sharpie, and it wrote "show parking."
we knew from there we were set.
Yeah, we were like, all right, straight. So we follow the sign, and it takes us into the back lot of this factory industrial district, and we're like, this is weird. We walk up to this big door. It's like a blast door, you know, like loading doors that like semi trucks back up to, and you know they whip up and they load them. It was one of those. And we walk up to it, and we're like, "Is this it?" And we like look, and on the door it says the name of the venue, and we're like, "Okay, this must be it." So we knock, we knock on this blast door, and it makes this nasty ponging sound. Where we're like, "This is
echoes forever."
Sketch. And somebody opens the door. It's like this wee little bit, and we're just like, they're like, "What do you want?" We're like, "Is this the venue?" And they're like, "What do you think?" And we're like, I don't know. And they're just like, yeah, no, dude. And they whip the door open. They're like, no, we're just fucking with you, man. Yeah, come on in. And we're like, all right, tight.
And it turned out to be like the dopest show of the tour.
Yeah, it was a really, really dope show. Really, really dope. So up to this point, pretty sketchy, but like, fun and in a fun way. So
And then people just start flowing in.
yeah,
Like, there's
weirdly
a lot of
enough,
people.
we're like, how do people know where this is? First of all, and second of all, like, we're not from New Jersey. Like, what are you doing here? And so it was a blast. But then fast forward to the end of the night, we finish our set, and there's one band after us, and then there's like some guys hanging out on the stage. We're selling some merch by our table, and there's these two guys on stage that weren't like scheduled to perform, but they were doing some like karaoke or something on the stage. And we're like, all right, whatever. If they're still here, we're still here selling merch. So we're sitting there and we're doing our thing, and all of a sudden we hear dogs barking, and we're like, that's weird. And we see like flashlights, and we're like, oh, that's unsettling. And then some guy walks into the room, and they're just like, oh my god, the SWAT's here. And we're like, what? And then 2 seconds later, you hear dogs, and everything's all up in our face, and they're
all
just
these
like
dudes with guns.
Yeah, dude, it was like 9 to 10 officers and two dogs, giant German shepherds. Now I have a fear of German shepherds because they were massive, barking in our faces. Yeah. And we were just like, oh my god, what's going on? And the show just got busted, like hardcore. And
venue owners in cuffs on the ground.
They've got him in cuffs, and they're like holding him, and they're just like, what's going on? They're just like, you guys need to leave. And we're like, we need to get our stuff. And they're like, no, you need to leave. And we're like, we're not from here. We need our stuff. Please, just let us load up. We'll go as fast as possible.
They wanted to confiscate all of our merch and all of our equipment because it was on scene of a crime of some sort.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. So we were like, fuck that. We were like, please let us go. And they're like, yeah, you've got like 10 minutes. And we've loaded up, and we were out of there in 5, man.
Yeah, we've never loaded that fast in our lives.
Oh, it was insane. So we basically ran out of the venue. And
didn't even get to say goodbye to our home seeker.
No, we didn't. We were gonna meet up at a gas station or something, but they were just like, guys, we're not even like out yet. Like, we can't. We're like, we're just gonna go home because we're so sketched out at this point. Yeah. So, that was an experience.
Did you guys get paid?
No, we didn't, because the officer asked us if we got paid because it was not clean money of some sort. So no, we didn't get paid.
No money exchanged hands, officer and government that's listening.
Mr. Officer Man, none.
Apple products in the room.
Dude, yeah, I feel that. Dude, I actually, oddly enough, the last time I played New Jersey, I was thinking that it might have been like the same type of thing, because literally we played some venue in New Jersey, and it was like in some sort of like office industrial setting also, but it was basically like an office building, like some sort of commercial use office building that someone happened to have like, I don't know, church in or something, because it had like one room, and that's where the show was. And it was like one of those things where you're like, oh, I guess I'm playing a show here in New Jersey.
So yeah, we haven't been to New Jersey since.
Yeah, well, kids throw the fuck down there, man.
Yeah,
like, they're into it.
Yeah,
the Jersey scene's wild.
Yeah, they're fun.
And moral of the story.
Wait.
I guess moral of the story is, though, guys, if you actually want to get the lead singer to load out, all you have to do is just call the cops.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, a microphone's really heavy, so like I get it. Like they have a lot to carry, but
And
oh my god,
classic.
I hear the end of this all the time. It's
Classic.
great.
Well, we put him in charge of merch, so he has some shit to carry.
Yeah,
that's what we did. That's what we did with Kevin. And speaking of Kevin, on that song break,
Kevin.
You were like saying, "Hey, do you know Kevin?" And I was like, "Yeah, Kevin from Baby, yeah." And I was like, "Kevin Fletcher," and you're like, "Yeah, we played with him when he was filling in with Assuming We Survive." So, dude, small world. We're coming.
Yeah, man.
We're coming full circle here.
Oh,
it is. Sure. What's the something of separation? It's like
six degrees.
6 degrees of separation.
Yeah.
Like every person knows someone of some sort.
Someone who knows someone who knows someone who knows you.
Right,
dude.
right.
And that's definitely
wild,
the case for touring bands. I feel like I could just reach out to any band that tours, like just via my friends list. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
And
it's wild.
Playing my 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon game to make it happen.
Well, no, I mean, Kevin and all the dudes from Assuming We Survive, they're just all like the best people. Like, you meet them and you're instantly like family. Like, they're hugging on you, trying to play wiffle ball in a parking lot, trying to get you drunk. Like, they're cool dudes.
Yeah, big shout out to Assuming We Survive, guys.
Yeah, they're doing some big shit. They did the whole Warped Tour. They've been killing it.
They're making it happen. And guys, if you don't know who Assuming We Survive is, go into the back catalog. Guys, they've done a Sean vs. Wild podcast with me. Give it a listen, and you'll know all about them. They're awesome dudes. And yeah, big shout out to Assuming We Survive. But yeah, speaking of Warped Tour, because you're talking about how they played the whole Warped Tour, you guys also made some appearances on this past summer on the Vans Warped Tour, the last one. How did that feel to check that off How did that feel to check that off your bucket list?
Oh man, it was honestly like, it was one of the coolest things that I've ever gotten to do in my entire life. You know, all of us in the band grew up going to Warped Tour, and it was one of those things like, man, I hope I get to do this someday. And we all got to the point, Mike, our guitarist, said it the last time. We all went to Warped Tour together about 4 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. And Mike said it. He was just like, you know, I think like I can't go to, every time we go here, like we're going to be probably touring now. Like next time I go to Warped Tour, like we're going to be playing it. And sure enough, like that was the case, you know, like we've been on tour most of the other times when it was through. So this time it was like kind of cool to like block it off and be like, no, we're not doing a tour that month. Like we're playing it, man. We're doing it. So it was a really, really fucking surreal, cool experience.
A very surreal experience too, because like you look at that big inflatable board that just has all these names on it, these incredible artists, and I remember just like walking through a crowd of people, like to some 1,000 people, I don't know. I'm just like looking at this board, and I'm like, my band's on that board, and I'm crying in front of thousands of people right now. Fucking tight, like
yeah, man, it was cool. It was really, really cool. Every day that we played was fantastic. The sound people that we got to work with on the Full Sail stage were fantastic too. They were sad that we weren't playing more dates, and we were sad that we weren't playing more dates. And you know, it was a cool experience, man. We met a lot of people, made a lot of impressions, and made a lot of friends and people that, you know, hopefully we'll continue to communicate with. And I'd like to think a lot of those people that we met in those days are a large portion of the reason that we were able to chart with the album, because the album came out days after we got back from Warped.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, and the thing is Warped, you meet so many awesome fans, so many awesome friends, so many awesome, like, peers in your line of work, bands to tour with, connections, managers, photographers, all, you know, it runs the whole gamut of everybody you need to know. Anybody that's anybody's pretty much there. So
yeah, dude.
I'm gonna miss Warped Tour big time, you know, because that was just like, you know, it's like punk rock summer camp. You go there and you know, go see every band that you love playing all at the same time. But
it's a shame it kind of got taken advantage of by the end of it. You know, we all took it for granted that we just kind of felt like it was always going to be there, and you know, now it's not. And I think everybody's going to miss it a little bit.
Man, let me pose a deeper question to you right now. Do you think, you know, my thing is like, you know, with Warped Tour, it started out, it's like this punk rock festival, but do you think like there's a place for punk rock in 2018? You know what I'm saying? Or 2019 going forward? Can you really be punk rock when everything is so, you know, everything is just kind of like so middle of the road? You know what I'm saying? Like you can't be, I don't know. What do you think about that concept? Do you think maybe that has something to do with why, you know, tours like that don't exist anymore?
I don't know. Part of me like believes that it's going to be a struggle, like no doubt, but another big part of me believes we played with DRI like not too long ago at the Rex in Pennsylvania, and these dudes are like still killing it. And the fucking crowd that they had was, I've never seen that many mohawks and fucking leather jackets that were spiked up and just rowdy kids, just punk ass kids trying to fucking throw down and hang out and party like before in my life. So like I still think that it's there, but like if you want it, you're gonna have to work for it for sure.
Yeah, man. I mean, like any genre that's a little more niche. I think punk unfortunately has become a little more niche. It used to be much more like, you know, broad, but I believe it's kind of sunken into like a little bit of a niche area, but like I think that gives it opportunity too to like become more innovative. Like you've seen so many things, experienced so many things within that punk scene that now there's like ways to grow it and make it different, and it's got the opportunity to like, you know, have another shot at doing a new generation where that's the shit, you know, punk's the shit. I think music goes in full circle, and right now everybody's about the hip hop, and I've seen it's kind of like moved forward into like EDM's really become really, really prevalent in the last like couple years with like artists like Zed and stuff, and guy's name's escaping.
Excision.
Yeah, Excision, and I think that stuff has been becoming more moved forward, but I think music moves in a circle. Because now, like, I'm finding that, you know, there's also a lot of people that are drifting from that and listening to music that's a lot more like older sounding. Like the alternative bands now almost are resemblant of bands that existed in the 80s. So it's like I think as we kind of like move through it, the sounds are all there, and we've got all these different things that you can do with sound. And I think it's now going to be a thing like, what can we do to make it different? What can we do to make it sound unique? And I think that is an opportunity for that whole scene, which is awesome. So I definitely think that it can exist. Absolutely. I think there's a place for all music in every genre, because there's always going to be somebody that wants to listen to it. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who. Doesn't matter.
If it's one person or if it's 1 million people, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And I'll tell you, listeners out there, you play music now. To me, like, now is like the time to be in a punk rock band. With all the shit that's going on in your day-to-day and in the world and in the country, and, you know, everybody has these views and everybody's upset online. Take that aggression off of line and into your garage, woodshed, and start a fucking punk rock band and send it out to the masses. That's what it's all about. So,
fuck yeah, dude.
You know? But hey, guys, as we're winding down, let me ask you, where can everybody find Alteras online? What are the deets on your social media?
Well, we are on exclusively Vero at the moment. So, like, if you want to see anything Alteras, you have to be on Vero. It's very, very exclusive. We only allow certain people to. I don't even know how Vero works. I'm just bullshitting now.
Oh my god, no. We're on all the platforms you can imagine, man. So like Twitter. Yeah, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. The slash or whatever, like the tag is Alteras Band. So literally, no matter what it is, twitter.com/Alteras Band, facebook.com/Alteras Band, Instagram, so on and so forth.
Instagram on the computer.
Yeah, nope. So just search Alteras Band, it'll come up, and we're verified on most of those, so it's pretty easy to find us.
Yeah. If you want to stream our stuff, obviously Spotify, iTunes, Pandora.
Can find us pretty much literally, because our name is what it is. It's actually pretty easy to find us. There's no other bands called Alteras. It's a Spanish word, so people don't normally like. It's not hard to search on Google. If you type it into Google, it comes right up. So it's pretty easy.
Nailed it.
We have somehow made it easy on people.
Yeah.
Got your SEO, man. Your SEO.
If they can remember how to spell it.
Yeah, there you go, guys. Alteras. Alteras. Make it happen. But yeah, dudes, it's been so awesome kind of getting to know you guys and chatting, and we're definitely going to have to have a round two. Let me ask you too, what do you guys have coming up here in the upcoming months? You guys going to be hitting the road anytime soon? Where can people catch you?
So right now we just got off tour with our new friends, World War Me. Check them out as well.
Yeah, they're on Sharptown Records.
Yeah, and for right now we have a couple of shows booked at home to kind of celebrate, charting or the release of the album. We're doing a couple of, it's actually kind of ironic that like some of the first shows that we all went to and played at were at this skate place down the street from us. We're doing a show there, and kind of hitting our stomping grounds again. But yeah, we've got more tours coming soon that if you guys follow us on social media, you'll be able to see them there. And
those ones are the unannounced. They're coming. Just gotta wait for the agents to tell us we can drop the names.
Gotcha. Well, awesome, guys. Yeah, if you're definitely in the Youngstown area, you got to check out your hometown boys. Everybody else, check them out online. Buy that brand new album. Again, it's called Myself on Fire. It is out on Revival Recordings and has been since August 3rd. So what the fuck are you waiting for, people? Get it right now.
bro.
And
Let's do it.
yeah, dude. And guys, I can't wait. Hopefully next time we see each other, we'll have some Black Eyed Peas playing in the background. Maybe we'll
Oh man,
crawl into a couple mummy bags. See when we wake up, bro.
get crazy, man. Get crazy.
That's what it's going to be. But guys, also too, if you like what you heard today, which something tells me that you did because you made it all the way to the end of the podcast. But if you haven't already, like, share, and subscribe. Sean versus Wild. Check out the podcast, man. All the subscriptions, all the ratings, all the reviews, the shares, the telling your friends about it. That all goes a long way. And of course, the Sean versus Wild podcast is on Spotify. It is on iTunes. It's on Stitcher. It is wherever you get it. It's even on YouTube, man. I'm trying to grow this YouTube channel. I don't know if people check out podcasts on YouTube, but yeah, it's there too. So definitely do that. And guys, thank you so much for bearing with me, Alteras, through all the rain and the thunder. And we made it through, guys. Let's crack open a couple cold beers, man, and get just start jamming to my humps. What do you think?
Oh fuck yeah! Hell
Cheers
yeah,
to
dude.
that, my dog.
Yeah, man. Thanks so much for having us, man.
Hey,
It's been
no
fun.
problem.
Also, if you're not subscribed and listening to Sean versus Wild by now, then you ain't shit, dog.
Definitely ain't dick.
That's what's up. But yes, guys, that's going to be it. This has been the most exciting, most awesome, the greatest podcast on earth. This has been the Sean versus Wild podcast.
Thank you for listening, DNN.